Hello and welcome to another episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. Firstly, a happy new year to everyone. Apologies for doing this show on a late one as well. I was away for a few days, but let's talk about it again. Liverpool started the year with a bang, and what a game it was. Full of goals and great performances from all over the pitch. So today I'll analyze the game with the key moments, present my player ratings, and give you guys a platform to join the stream as well. So if you'd like to come on the show, the link is available in the description. So feel free to join in. Yeah, you can't miss it in the description. So before we begin the match review, let's touch on the lineup. So with regards to Liverpool, the starting lineup was as expected. The only difference from my prediction was that Diaz starts ahead of Gakpo. And then Klopp gives us another surprise from the bench as McAllister makes his return to the bench. Don't always believe what you read on Twitter, as many thought McAllister was going to return next month or even March. So goes to show how much we know in terms of the player availability. For Newcastle, Livramento starts ahead of Trippier, who was unavailable. Joelinton is playing a more advanced position in this game, so Miley keeps his place in the team, and Isaac leads the line. So let's talk about the first half. So Liverpool, great start on the front foot. And in the first minute, Trent Alexander-Arnold hits a fantastic left foot volley from outside the box, just goes wide. And it kept on going from there. 11th minute, Liverpool on attack again. Lovely through ball by Trent Alexander-Arnold to find Nunes. He has a 1-2 with Salah. Nunes shoots first, saved by the keeper. Jones and Endo have follow-up shots before the ball goes out of play. Trent was producing all types of high-quality passes throughout the game. This was just one of many. He had a great game in terms of his distribution. And then around the 16th minute, he steps up for a free kick, hits in the danger zone to find Nunes again. This time, his header goes over the bar. 17th minute, Liverpool break the deadlock. However, it's flagged for offside. For me, I wouldn't say it was the right decision, but it was very, very close. Nunes just was ahead of play before Diaz finished with a fantastic left foot finish. A lovely pass by Jones with the outside of his foot to start that move. Around the 19th minute, Endo makes a fantastic block to give Diaz the ball. He drives into the box, gets tripped by Shaw, penalty awarded. Now, a lot of noise in the last few days with regards to both penalty incidents. We'll start with this one. For me, it's not a dive. If you watch it in real time, there was contact made as Botman clips in from behind and Diaz drops to the ground. Was a bit theatrical in terms of his drop? Possibly, but the way I think he clipped the back of his foot, it ended up being where he ended up crossing his legs, and that's when he fell to the ground. So, it did look like he tried to stay on his feet, but as he did, he didn't have the balance. So, therefore, he went to the ground. But for me, it was still a penalty. There was contact there. It's not like he dived and there was, nothing for him to actually dive upon. So no, it was a penalty in my books. 22nd minute, Mo Salah steps up to take the penalty, smashes it centrally, which was saved by Dubravka. And the ball wasn't parried away that far, still in the 6-yard box. Trent is first to get there, but his shot goes over the bar. Looks like he shinned it. For me, he should have done better there. And then a minute later, Liverpool on attack again. This time was Curtis Jones, who had a shot from outside the box. Routine save for Dubravka. And then 25th minute, Jones, who definitely had a spectacular game in this one, has another chance as he tries to dink it from the left-hand side. Saved by the keeper. Great play by Diaz on that left wing. Joe Gomez, another player who had a stand-up performance, makes a fantastic block around the half-an-hour mark as Newcastle tried to hit Liverpool on the counter-attack. And then a few minutes later, Nunes has a couple cracks on goal. This is the one that a lot of fans are talking about. The first shot, he was one-on-one, saved by the keeper. Second shot, parried away by Dubravka. So for me, out of the two chances, the first one he should have done a lot better with. He was one-on-one. He had plenty of time and space to aim at the goal. The second shot was from a distance, so you're trying to curl it around the keeper. It's not an easy task. But the first one, yeah, it's bread and butter. Should have done better there. Around the 36th minute, Newcastle hit back. They hit the back of the net through Dan Burn, but that goal was also ruled out as Isaac was offside. Close call, similar to Liverpool's decision earlier in the game. Around the 38th minute, what an audacious shot from Trent Alexander-Arnold from the edge of the right-hand side of the box. Clips the post, so unlucky. If that had gone in, I probably would have labeled it as the goal of the season, because in that position, you have no right to shoot, and he almost scored. 42nd minute, Newcastle on attack as Isaac goes through on goal, but it was Van Dijk who stops him completely and blocks his path for a corner. But after the corner was awarded, there was a huge noise from the crowd. As moments before that, Joe Linton fouls Szoboszlai blatantly from behind to stop a counter-attack, and he didn't even receive a booking for it. So ridiculous decision from the referee. But at this stage, nothing surprises me when it comes to these incompetent officials. In terms of the first half, it was all one-way traffic from the home team, who should be on the lead, in my opinion. But, if Liverpool continue this form into the second half, I'm sure we'll be able to see more goals and hopefully get the win. And that's exactly what panned out in the second half. So we started off really well. Liverpool managed to break the deadlock around the 40th minute. Great counter-attack. That started from Trent's long ball. Szoboszlai drives with the ball, gives it to Diaz. Diaz cuts infield, lays it off fantastically to Nunez on the right, and he cushions it to Salah into the 6-yard box. And Salah hits the back of the net from close range. Great move from the Reds. That's Salah's 150th Premier League goal for Liverpool. Seems to be breaking records on a weekly basis now. And then you had Firmino and Fabinho enjoying the goal as they were spectating the game from the crowd, which was a nice moment for the former players there. Around the 51st minute, Trent hits a lovely pass to Salah on the right, who cuts in and shoots, blocked by the keeper. But then moments later, Liverpool create another move. Great play from Diaz and Salah, who hit a low cross towards Nunez, who shoots from point blank. Great save by Dubravka, although we'll say Nunez should have scored there. In terms of the distance, yes, because he was very close to the keeper, but it was more of a snapshot. So I think for him it was just to hit on target and see what happens. Whereas the previous chance in the first half, that was the one where you can kind of calculate or be a bit more precise with your finishing. This one was an instinctive finish. So no, great save from the keeper there. And then the following minute, Nunez has another shot. This time he hits a thunderous one from the right-hand side with a half volley. Great save by Dubravka, who tips the ball over the bar for a corner. And at 53rd minute, surprisingly, Newcastle hit Liverpool on the counter-attack. Isaac threw Konate and Van Dijk into the box, and then he hits a lovely finish with his side foot. In terms of that equalizer, I think Van Dijk maybe should have been a bit closer to the attacker there, but take nothing away from the striker. Isaac produced a quality finish there. Not an easy one to execute, especially with his right foot. And in those kind of split moments, Van Dijk, I think, just probably hesitated a little bit. But you have to give credit to the striker in terms of his finish there, because it was a fantastic run from him, a clever run, and the finish was just as an exquisite one as well. 61st minute, Diaz has a moment where he cuts in, goes past a couple of players, pulls the trigger, saved by the keeper again. The keeper made a lot of saves, but I'll be honest, they're not very convincing saves. He was pretty much just flapping them around like a seal. He was just doing this all the time. So they weren't like quality saves. He was just getting the ball away from the danger zone as much as he could. But yeah, we had a lot of shots, as we all know. Great interception by Szoboszlai for that moment, actually, to keep that move alive. Around the 63rd minute, Endo hits a fantastic cross towards Nunez, who tries to guide it into the top corner, just goes wide. Unfortunately, around that moment, Szoboszlai looks like he's picked up an injury, looks like a hamstring one. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. I haven't heard anything today. Not the best of timing, considering Mohamed Salah is off to participate in the AFCON competition soon. So, yeah, not the ideal time, but hopefully it's just a small niggle and he's available due time. And then around that time, Klopp made some wholesale changes. Szoboszlai, Nunez, and Diaz came off for Gravenberch, Jota, and Gakpo. Just got a few comments here. So let's start with Ensman TV, who says, "Big up, bro. Happy New Year to you and the family." Big up yourself, Ens. Thank you so much for your comment, and big up to you as well. And Happy New Year to you and your family. And he also says, "Big up to the chat." And we have Arsenal fans that you are going out of the FA Cup. So we already got the smack talk from our Arsenal Arsenal viewer here. That's all right. We'll be doing a match preview very soon. So make sure to tune in. We can definitely chop it up and see how our team does later on this weekend. So back to the game. So around the 64th minute, Jota comes off the bench and gets involved pretty much right away as he lays off a pass to Salah on the right-hand side. Shoots from distance, like I said, parried away. That is the word for Dubravka. But then the ball lands to Jones, who shoots, but unfortunately his shot is blocked by Livramento on the line. Joelinton makes a lunging tackle on the 65th minute on Konate and finally gets the book. But as we all know, maybe that should have been that second yellow. So it is what it is with regards to that incident there. Around the 68th minute, Trent hits a corner. The ball finds Gakpo, who lashes on with a shot. Blocked by Dubravka. Gravenberch hits a follow-up shot. But unfortunately, his effort goes over the bar. And then this is where the goal started flowing in. 73rd minute, Liverpool take the lead. Great pass by Salah to Jota, who squares it to Jones, and he hits the empty net. For me, it came all from Salah. Great play on the wing. And to be fair, Jones certainly deserved the goal. He was fantastic in this game. And then around the 75th minute, a nice surprise for us. Last week, Jota was a nice surprise for me. I wasn't expecting to see him on the bench. And then now we've got McAllister. So let's hope the next fixture is Thiago. Maybe wishful thinking, but you got to hope sometimes. So McAllister makes his return and replaces Endo on the pitch. And in the 77th minute, everyone labels Mo Salah as a top goal scorer. But it's time that we start saying he's also a top playmaker to his resume, as he produces a lovely pass with the outside of his foot into the box. Gakpo, to be honest, doesn't make the cleanest of contacts, but does enough to hit the target and extend the lead to 3-1. And in the 79th minute, Liverpool smell blood on the attack again. Gakpo drives with the ball, lays it off to Salah, who tries to hit it first time to Curtis with his right foot, but just couldn't get his foot around the ball. And in the 80th minute, Newcastle yet again respond in a surprising manner as Botman scores from the corner. Jota, for me, didn't do enough to obstruct the defender there, as it looked like he was marking a zone rather than the player. So for me, a poor goal to concede as it came from nothing, to be fair. 83rd minute, Liverpool are awarded with another penalty as Dubravka brought down Jota. So this was a big talking point over the last few days. Firstly, what a pass by McAllister with the outside of his foot. Splits up the two centre-backs. Jota's through on goal, goes around the keeper. But as you can see in the replay, Dubravka's elbow hits the left foot of Jota, and that's why he falls to the ground. Now, I'm going to keep it 100. Jota most definitely simulated to get that penalty, but it's not a dive. And let me explain the difference. So I classify as a dive where there is no contact made on the player and he just drops to the ground. But if you look at the replays, you can tell that there was definitely contact. And even after the contact was made from Dubravka's elbow onto Jota's leg, it was literally one step and then he fell. So it wasn't like he took a few steps and then decided to dive to what Gary Neville alluded to, which was complete nonsense, as always. In terms of football terms, simulation is when a player is fouled, but it kind of drops to the ground to ensure they are awarded a free kick or a penalty in this case. And look, all the great strikers do it, and they've all done it in the past, and they're still doing it right now. It's part of the game, especially this modern game. Harry Kane does it all the time, but you don't hear the likes of Alan Shearer saying anything to when Kane does it due to English bias. If an English player does it, it's smart when it's a another player is regarded as cheating or diving. So please keep that agenda to yourselves. For me, it was the right decision for the penalty to be awarded. In terms of the penalty, 85th minute, Salah steps up and this time hits the back of the net with precision. And 87th minute, Salah's on the hunt for that match ball as he charges down the right wing to complete his hat-trick, but the shot was blocked. And 94th minute has another chance towards the end of the game, but his effort was blocked by Botman. Lovely pass by Gravenberch in the build-up for that. So overall, a fantastic win for Liverpool. Not an easy tie, as Newcastle are a tricky opposition. I know they've not been in best of forms. They have lost 4 out of their last 5 games before this match took place. So in terms of the form table, it should have been a walk in the park, but they're still a decent team. And I'll be honest with you, 4-2 seems like a big scoreline. I think we should have hit them with a lot more goals. We just weren't clinical in the first half. So, you know, everyone can debate about these 2 penalty decisions. We should have won it away from those chances anyway. So for me, a very well-deserved win, and it allows us to be top of the table. I believe the points gap now is 5 points. City still have a game remaining, or game in hand, I should say. So no, Liverpool on the up right now, and it's very good to see. So what I'll do now is I'll do the player ratings. If you'd like to come on, hit the link in the description, and I'll get you on after I complete the player rating. So let's begin. And let's start with Alisson. So Alisson had one of those games where he wasn't involved much, to be fair. In terms of the 2 goals that were scored, I wouldn't even say Alisson could have done better. The first one was just a lovely finish. So you have to give the attacker the praise or the advantage in terms of, you know, executing a finish like that, because the difficult part of playing football is obviously to score goals. So when someone does something of great quality, you have to applaud it. So for me, it wasn't an easy save, for example. It was just a great execution from the striker. And then the second goal was a point-blank header. So very hard to save those. And in general, his distribution was fine. He didn't really have to make too many saves, to be fair. So that's why those 2 goals would suggest that Newcastle were in the match or competing. They really weren't. They were just 2 moments that came out of the blue, and they were clinical on that ground. So for me, Alisson just had a solid game. Can't give him a high ranking because it's a bit harsh on goalkeepers, but he didn't really have to do anything on the pitch. Didn't have to make any saves or anything like that. So for me, it's a 7 out of 10, which is still a solid ranking, to be fair. Now let's start with the defense. Joe Gomez, what a performance from him. I said it a few weeks ago. Whenever I see Joe Gomez playing left back, I'm nervous. I'm on edge because I don't feel like that's his forte, or that's not his strong position. But look, play him on the pitch and he always delivers. Play him as a right back, centre back, left back, he does the job. So I'm very, very pleased with how he's performing. Still rooting for him to break that deadlock. Hopefully that happens in due time. But no, he had a very solid game. And in the first time, I remember him making a lot of blocks. Almiron was mute. Well, that was more in the second half because Gordon's played on the right-hand side at times. Gordon didn't have a sniff in that game until he switched over to the left-hand side towards the last 20 minutes of the game. So no, he kept everyone quiet, whoever was on that right-hand side. Livramento did not have any influence in that game whatsoever. So no, very, very solid performance from Joe Gomez. Very impressed with him. Goes to show with hard work what you can produce, because I'm definitely not one of them. So if you think I am, show me some receipts, because I've been speaking very positive about Joe Gomez over the last year or so. I still feel like he's a top quality player. For me, he's probably one of the best English players, and that's not just me speaking Liverpool bias right now. I feel like for a player of his height, his ability on the ball, his versatility, he would be an asset to that England national team. But who cares about the national team right now? We're speaking about Liverpool. And for us, he's saving us in so many situations where if Trent's not available, we've got him for cover, and he's very solid playing as a right back. Same in the centre back roles as well. And then look, we've got 2 left backs that are injured, and he slotted in, and we don't even feel like, we're in a weaker position. He's basically strengthened us even more. So no, very pleased with in terms of how he's performing. I feel like he deserves to get as much game time as possible because he's showing his hard work and he's getting the rewards for it as well. So for this game, I'm going to give him an 8.5 out of 10. In terms of Van Dijk, yeah, another solid performance from him. The goal, I'm not going to pinpoint and say that was his fault. I don't think it was. It was just that moment where that split decision to go forward might have cost him in terms of positioning, because I feel like if he just had maybe half a yard on Isaac, he would have scored. Or maybe he just didn't expect to see Isaac accelerate off the ball, because I think that's something that when you look at a tall striker, you don't think they're quick on their feet. He's actually very quick on and off the ball. So slight hesitation from Van Dijk there, but I wouldn't have said that was a costly moment. These things happen. Like I said, give the attacker the advantage there. You can't just pinpoint our defender's error. Got to applaud the opposition sometimes as well. And after that, sometimes with a player, you think their head would go down, or they'd make rash challenges, or just a bit edge on the ball. That wasn't the case. He was calm. He was composed. He was definitely leading the line and showing his presence after that as well. And then I would say throughout the game, no one really took advantage of him. He definitely stepped up his game and made sure the defense line was as compact as it can be. So for me, solid performance from Van Dijk. So I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. And his partner, Konate, as well, for me, had another solid game. Good on the ball. That's probably one of, I say, negative feedback from fans is that his distribution can be a bit questionable. But I feel like he was very solid the ball, kept it simple, covered Trent whenever required as well. So no, another impressive performance from Konate for me. So that's another 8 out of 10 there. And Trent, for me, had a good game as well, producing some lovely passes. We're kind of getting spoiled with his passing because I don't see any right back doing what he does. And we've probably become very accustomed to seeing those type of passes from Trent Alexander-Arnold. But he's just head and shoulders above everyone else, let's be honest. And good, solid performance from him. Unlucky not to score. That rebound from the first penalty, I think he should have done much better. The bounce wasn't as high. He probably just had to clip it towards the ground rather than that same height of the ball, because as he tried to do that, the technique was all wrong. I think he shinned it a little bit and then ended up going over the bar. So no, for me, I feel like probably should score there, but I'm not going to reduce his rating because of that. But I think he had a very solid game, so I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 as well. In terms of our midfield, Endo, for me, another solid performance. It's such, positive performances that we've seen from him in recent weeks. A lot of people weren't expecting too much from him, but I feel like he's just shown why Klopp had faith in him, why Klopp really wanted him to sign this summer. And yeah, he's definitely delivering. With these type of players playing that number 6 role, they don't need to be the flashy signing, because the job that they do, to a lot of fans, may even go unnoticed, but to the real football fans, they know what he brings to the table. And I feel like being a destroyer is one thing, but what impressed me the most with him is his pressing. So there were moments of times where he was actually on the edge of the box and trying to make things happen. So he doesn't, not just a deep line defensive midfielder. He actually tries to contribute and make things happen. Obviously, he scored that goal a few weeks ago against, I can't remember who it was now, where we had, it was Szoboszlai, McAllister scoring. So, we know he's got that in his locker, and his passing range, I feel like it's a bit underrated as well. I feel like he can definitely pinpoint a pass whenever he needs to do. So no, another solid performance from him. I believe he goes away for the Asia Cup as well. Mo Salah is going to AFCON, so definitely a huge loss. But to look on the positive, McAllister is back in the lineup now, so hopefully he can stay fit and help fill that void for the upcoming week. So in terms of Endo, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 as well. So Bosley for me actually had a good game. Not his best game. I wouldn't say it's, you know, like Bosley's back or anything like that. In terms of not negative, but in terms of my feedback, I think he gave away the ball a lot during this game. I still feel like he's trying to find that rhythm. He hasn't quite found it yet. Unfortunately, he's picked up an injury now as well, so hopefully he's not kept out too late. But despite those misplaced passes, he kept on going. His head wasn't down. Shows what kind of mentality he has as a player. Drives with the ball, which is what we need at times, and still made some good passes around the pitch. So for me, had a good performance. So I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. Curtis Jones for me was fantastic. From first minute to the end, he was everywhere. Yeah, very impressed with his performance. One thing that really impressed me is his ball retention and his understanding of the game, which has really improved over the years. And for me, he's a proper team player. You know, Curtis Jones, if you watched him in the reserves or the youth football level, very attack-minded player. But now he's just added a different layer to him where he's a complete number 8. And he's been linked with Arsenal, which is a complete joke. I'm not sure why he's been linked with Arsenal or why they've been trying to sign him, to be fair, because he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So no, a positive performance from Curtis Jones. Really, really stood out for me. Deserved that goal at the end as well. So I'm going to give him a good ranking today, hopefully. I hope you guys agree. So I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. And then up top, let's start with Diaz. Diaz probably had one of his better performances in this game. I read a stat where I think in this game he had about 6 or 7 one-on-one dribbles, which is more than what he's produced all season. So he did that all in one match. So that's what he's been missing over the last few weeks. He looks like the weight off his shoulders. I don't know why that was, but he was playing like his old self. He was playing like the Porto Luis Diaz, the one that we bought about 18 months ago. He looked like that type of player. So very energetic, was taken on the fullback, which he's been a bit shy of in recent weeks. Cutting in, not being as predictable, using his skill and trickery. Had a couple of shots as well. Scored one, but obviously ruled out for offside. So no, very, very positive performance from him. Looking forward to how he does over the next few weeks with Mo Salah not being available. So I'm going to give him an 8.5 out of 10. And then Nunez. Now, this will be a controversial one because I feel like Nunez, he definitely divides opinions. Forget rival fans, they've got their own agenda, but even amongst Liverpool fans. So some fans will see as his performance was good, but he was wasteful in terms of his shots. But I look at it the other way. So for me, I'm looking at in terms of how he's impacted the game. So what impressed me the most was his pressing, which I know a lot of people say that's, he's known to do that, but you've got to still highlight his strong skills. So this game, he was very tenacious. He was pressing from the front. His link-up play was very good. That's something that I don't feel like people highlight, where if someone's giving him a long ball, he lays it off perfectly in terms of weight and pass and makes the run as well. So he doesn't just stand around. He attacks the channels when it's required. In terms of shooting, yes, he doesn't score as many goals as he should, or he's not as clinical in front of goals, but he's in those positions every time. With a lot of strikers, they get in one position, and if they miss the chance, then their head goes down. He doesn't have that mentality. He has a very strong mentality. He's a fighter. He keeps going. And look, those chances will eventually be converted in due time. It's just something that he's going to, I think, gain more confidence and composure with more experience. But right now, I'd rather he's doing what he's doing right now, because it still shows me that he's able to make some sort of impact on the pitch. He's affecting the opposition's way of playing. He's definitely pushing the defense line further back because of the way he's playing. So I thought it was a positive performance. I know he didn't get on the score sheet, but you know, he splits opinions. I still feel like there's a player there who has the potential to be a top striker. Just needs to work on a few things. Once he finds that ingredient, yeah, he'll be cooking. So for me, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 for this team performance. In terms of Mo Salah, for me, he had a good half. I was impressed with how he was playing, very much involved in the ball. There's a lot of games where I feel like he'll get the ball, but he'll just pass it around. He wouldn't really take on the fullback. He tried to do that against Dan Burns, which is good to see. But second half, he just stepped it up a different level. And he showed his mentality as well, missing that penalty. Some players, their heads might be down. They might not want to take that second penalty if it came to them, which obviously happened towards the latter stages. Change his boots from yellow to blue. He's like, I'm not having these yellow boots, so let me try and switch it up. Hopefully that'll give him some confidence, and that's exactly what happened in the second half. In terms of his goal scoring ability, we know what he's capable of, but what impressed me was his actual playmaking ability, where the pass that he gave to Gakpo, it's not the first time we've seen passes like that from Salah. He's done that numerous times, so he's got fantastic ability on the ball. He's just a complete forward now, in my opinion. Has been for a few years, but I feel like sometimes with like the neutral fans, you got to do it more consistently for you to be making noise. I've seen it, you've seen it in terms of what he's done in the Liverpool shirt. But his tally is like match for match. So he's got, I believe, 14 goals and he's got about, I think it's 8 assists. Quote me if I'm wrong. So he's definitely up in those numbers. He might have reached the same numbers that Kane did a couple of years ago, where he became top goal scorer and top playmaker as well. So that's something that is realistic and he can do. Obviously, it's a shame that he's off to the African nations, but obviously, good luck to him and good luck to Egypt in that competition. Hopefully, he comes back with a trophy, because that'll only boost his confidence going into games playing for Liverpool. So for me, outstanding performance, and yeah, a good way, I guess, to start the new year and before he goes on international duty as well. So for his performance, I'm going to give him a 9.5 out of 10. So with that high ranking, that only means one thing, and he is my man of the match. So there he is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments in terms of my ranking. Have I been a bit trigger happy with the ratings? Are some of the players too highly rated here, or it's about right? Or have I got some wrong? Or do you think someone else deserves a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10? Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Let's move on to the subs. So there were a few subs that came on. So we had Gravenberg. Let me try and see who he came off for. So he came off for Szoboszlai. So let's put on Gravenberg. And then we also had Nunes come off, and it was Jota in his place. And then we had Diaz off and Gakpo on. And then I think we had one more. Yes, it was Endo off and it was McAllister. Okay, so let's start with McAllister. So nice surprise. I wasn't expecting him to be available in this game. I was expecting Jota to be available last week even. So yeah, a nice treat for Liverpool fans. And even when he came on, I feel like he showed a good account of himself. That pass for Jota was just sublime. And that's what we probably lack sometimes in midfield. But we've got such great technicians in our team that any of them can produce those type of moments, which is such a great trait to see in our team. So for me, a solid performance from him. Obviously didn't play a lot of minutes. So for me, his ranking will be not as high as the others. So I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. Gravenberg, for me, did a decent job when he came on. He produced some good passes as well. The one towards the latter stages, I think it was around the 94th minute, where he hit a crossfield pass to Salah, perfectly executed, perfectly weighted to Salah. Salah was just unlucky not to score, but he roamed around. He worked hard for the team, did his thing, and hopefully he can pick up some form, because I think a lot of our midfielders will be used quite heavily in the upcoming weeks. So for me, he gets a 7.5 out of 10. And then Gakpo comes on, gets on the score sheet. Not the cleanest of strikes, let's be honest. Probably got a bit lucky there, as it looked like he was trying to control the ball. Ended up being a poor touch, but hit the back of the net. So you can't complain with regards to the end result there. But yeah, he's looked good. He looks more comfortable playing on that left-hand side, to be fair. But the key thing about our sort of front line now, so I think when we had Mane, Firmino, and Salah, our front shape would be quite different. So let me see if I can put it. So let's just say Jota is Firmino. This would normally be our sort of attacking front three, where it ends up being a 4-3-1-2 kind of shape, with the center forward or false nine dropping deep, and then you've got two inside forwards. I feel like now it's more of a slightly different setup, where you've got Salah being more of the outside player. You've got probably Jones being there, McAllister there, and then you've got a triangle on this right-hand side, and then you've got kind of like two strikers up top, because these two players definitely interchange. And in terms of our profile, you've got Gakpo, Jota on the screen right now, but we've also got Nunez and Diaz, who can all play these two roles here. So different tactics in terms of how we're deploying it recently, where this is probably why Salah has become the playmaker of the team now, because he's on the flanks and he's making assists for these two players, so whoever's on the pitch. So whether it's Gakpo, Jota, Diaz, or Nunez, but they interchange these two players, so they can definitely rotate, which happened quite a lot during this game as well. So it's a good setup, to be honest with you. It's a different headache for oppositions. They won't be able to man mark these two guys, and if necessarily, they can even interchange where Salah goes as well. So that's why our front three is probably the most lethal front three. Well, I would say our collective attackers, our 5 attackers, are probably the most lethal in the Premier League, in my opinion, because they can all play in different roles. So that's why I have some confidence in terms of the upcoming games this month, that we should be able to cope without Salah. Obviously, we're not going to get a Salah type performances from certain players, but as long as we can get the end product, get some goals on a sheet, and win some games, that is the main important thing for me. So no, in terms of back to the game, in terms of Gakpo, solid performance, obviously on the score sheet as well. So he gets an 8 out of 10 for me. And then Jota as well. Yeah, he came on and definitely hit the ground running straight away. Almost became an assist for Salah. Laid the ball to him. Salah shot and was blocked by the keeper. So no, Jota for me has done really, really well when he's come back. Good to see him back. We've definitely missed him. Definitely missed a sort of gunman in front of goal, because he's probably arguably one of our best finishers in the team. So great to see him back. Definitely needed in this tough period in January. So no, for me, very, very impressed with his performance. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 as well. Just got a comment here from someone. AK King 27 says Luke Humphries. I think he might be referring to darts there, but hey, thank you for your comment anyway. As I can see, there's no callers in the backstage area. That's a wrap up for today, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Ensman TV and Arsenal for Life and AK King 27 for your comment. Appreciate your contribution, guys. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Next show will be tomorrow at 10 p.m. as I'll be doing a Premier League match week review. So please make sure to tune in. You can also follow me on social media at OzzieFTP on Twitter, and you can follow me at Ozzie.ftp on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. As always, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.